Now, this upbringing led to my utter dislike of anything that takes longer than it should take.
Warning: Damian Andrews' growing revenue and profit, if implemented, will put more money in your pocket. Please use with caution.
Damian Andrews' growing revenue and profit. And today's article is about effort versus outcome mindsets and the 2WD goal setting method. Start with a quote from Henry David Thoreau, who said, "It's not enough to be busy, so are the ants." The question is, what are they busy about? Now, you constantly see slogans, quotes, statements from notable successful people stating that you must work hard to succeed. The misnomer is that if you work hard, you will succeed. It's not hard work that guarantees success. If you want to succeed and succeed quickly, you must make the right effort. And I use effort because to me, work conjures up drudgery and horrible feelings, and effort is something that doesn't have the negative connotation. Maybe I need to see a shrink about that, and I can do that later. But I'm going to blame my mum for my overly anally retentiveness, because as a young child, I needed to fold my clothes precisely, place them exactly the right spot in the cupboard. Plus, I had to make my bed perfectly, and by that I mean fold the sheets at 45 degrees angles, and clearly I had no trouble making my bed when I joined the army as a young adult. Now, this upbringing led to my utter dislike of anything that takes longer than it should take, because to get out and play, the clothes needed to be folded, bed made, and all other chores finished, and faking it wasn't an option. The evil overlord, my mum, sorry mum, had to give clearance before I could leave the house, which is she checked everything that needed to be done was done correctly to the right standard. Otherwise, there was no BMXs, jumping, running around with cars, and playing video games. There's definitely some deep-rooted issues there, as you can tell, about my outcome-focused attitude. However, this turned out to be a good thing. Outcome focus has many benefits, particularly with regard to efficiency when you compare it to effort focus. So here are the differences between outcome and an effort focus. So outcome focus, it's goal-orientated, and the focus is on the end result, otherwise known as your goal and objective. It's feedback driven. All actions are measured against the movement towards the goal. And if an action doesn't move you closer to the goal, then an adjustment is made. Now, feedback also considers how to increase the performance of efforts you've done. So it's not just is it moving you in the direction, but also how can we improve the efficiency and how quickly we're getting to the goal. And that's where efficiency comes in. A key focus is how quickly you can get there. This prioritizes action. Observing efficiency was probably how the Pareto principle was discovered. Success achievement it's achieved when you achieve the preset outcome. Now, there are risks of this or outcome focus, and that can lead to corner cutting, overlooking ethical standards, and missing learning opportunities. Now, effort focus. It is process orientated. So the focus is on how much work was done. Now, it's input driven. It's all about how much effort, time, energy, or dedication was put into the task. Consistency is really important. So there's an emphasis on about how regular the work was undertaken or how methodical the dedication is. And the success achievement is how much hard work and dedication was put in, often irrespective of the outcome. You can see the downfall here. And the risk is it can lead to burnout, wasting of resources, and lack of direction. I'm sure we've all been in a meeting that wasn't focused on outcome, and there was lots of talking and chatter, but nothing really achieved. So the title of this article is somewhat of a misdirection, because here I seem to be pointing towards that effort mindset is not a good thing. But to succeed in business, you need a balance of both. When there's a strong effort focus, things can become very inefficient, which costs a lot of money. But a strong outcome focus without clear boundaries, i.e. don't break the law, can cause significant issues as well. It's the nexus between the two that counts, and that's where the 2WD goal setting comes in. And come up with that name because of, well, the obvious reasons, but also to a bit of a sports car fan, and two-wheel drive cars are fun for hanging the tail out, which I used to. I think it was an issue of when I was later as an adult, when I had my license and borrowed my mum's Volkswagen Beetle and took it to the hill climb track and fanged around the track and hang the tail out as I was driving around. But that's another story for another day. 2WD goal setting. This is where the 2W approach, it brings harmony between effort and outcome. And this is what we want. We want that balance between an outcome focus and an effort focus. And 2WD brings a more balanced efficiency to your business operations. Now, for lovers of SMART goal setting, it's okay. Changing your beliefs can take time, but SMART has too many acronyms and overlooks effort. It doesn't include that, which is why I created 2WD. It creates a nexus between the effort and outcome, and also it's much quicker to do than SMART and other goal-setting processes. So the two W's of that sets the outcome criteria. So one is what is the desired result? So you're clearly setting out what is you want to do or want to achieve. And if you have difficulty knowing what you want, as yourself, ask yourself, what do you choose? Now, this opens your conscious mind to knowing that you have the ability to choose what you want. So many people, I find, when I ask them what they want, they go, "Oh, I don't know." And then when I say, "What do you choose?" something clicks in the unconscious and they go, "Oh, I've got a choice." And that's right, you have a choice. So if you're struggling with what do I want, change the question to what do I choose? And also remember, this is like building a muscle. So the more perfect practice doesn't make perfect, practice makes permanent. The more perfect practice you do, the better you will get. So just practice, and the what sets out, how you'll know when you've achieved the outcome. So that's the point here. That's the what component. The first W is what. How do you know when you've achieved your outcome? And then there's the when, which is a time frame. Now, a deadline is an efficiency check to make sure that the effort part doesn't run amok. And this is where they link to do. The time frame is really important. They have to interlink together, and that'll make sense in a second. It helps with the prioritizing of tasks and allocating of resources because, again, you want to allocate resources in the most efficient manner to get to the outcome, with that constraint of not breaching ethical considerations, as some companies are having difficulty with. It seems to happen throughout any point in time in history. So when is determined in conjunction with effort, as we talked about before, and that's where the D comes in. So the two W's, and then you've got the D. The D is the effort focus component. Now, this is what you will do, the action steps, hence D. And you determine the actions and tasks needed to achieve the outcome. So that's the part of this process where we do the planning phase. We go, okay, this is what I want to achieve. Now we're going, okay, what do I need to do to get there? And you create a roadmap to the objective. So this sets out the path and what you need to do. Now, for larger tasks that will take longer, you want to put in checkpoints to assess how you are progressing. These will give you feedback and so you can make adjustments. And also, adjust to any new information that you might have. So ideally, you'll start with a realistic understanding of the effort required to achieve your outcomes. Hence, they're linked together, 2WD. Now, the harmony comes from having a clear target that ensures actions are purpose-driven, and that from the very beginning, the vision is grounded in a realistic, actionable steps. So you start each day clearly knowing what you're going to do, while understanding the persistence and resilience needed to get there. So effort is important, but knowing how to make an effort makes all the difference. And I'll put this into a practical case study. This is a case study of a caravan manufacturer. We'll call him Max. It's not his real name, so protect the not so innocent. He founded his caravan manufacturing business about 22 years earlier. He built a reputation for a high quality end product, but in the last few years, it became progressively difficult to keep his edge. Other manufacturers had entered the market and were able to produce a quality product, but at a lower cost. And also warranties were offered by these competitors, which negated his reputation, Max's reputation, that he'd built up over the years, because people saw the warranty and said, well, it's a long warranty, it must be a quality product. So Max's business, it was, when we looked at that, his business, it was clear that he was really had a bias towards effort focus. And some of the examples are during the design and prototyping, there was no real focus as to what the customer needed. What were their needs? What is it that they wanted? It's kind of like a gut feel type thing. It really wasn't researched. And he had no real feedback from customers as well. So often the designs took a long time to finalize because there were many options and things were played with, and it was a lot of fluffing around. And money would be spent on resources that in the end couldn't be used as well. They'd settle on something, and that's where a design was developed, and then after it started production, it was like, oh, actually, we don't need that component. So he'd spent money on things that he didn't need to spend money on. And that links into the material sourcing. So he also liked to haggle for a bargain. That was, and why not? But what he did was he negotiated lower cost per unit deals, but with higher volume, as you tend to do. But many of these materials became obsolete before they were needed due to the design changes. And then he kept those resources on the shelf as well. So it took up a lot of space and a lot of, because space equals to dollars, areas of the factory couldn't be used. And then the assembly, from the stories of the older workers that had been there for a long time, it appeared that the production was very, very efficient at one time, but progressively that changed. There was actually no checkpoints at the intermediate stages to assess how it was progressing against that time component. When we look at the effort, 2WD, what are the checkpoints, and are we meeting that? So there was no checks along the way, and it had there wasn't any record of how long it even took to make and what resources went in to build the Caravan. So there was also other issues. I won't get into details of those, but there were issues with quality control and testing, which we had to look at, marketing and sales, and after sales service. However, I think we've made the point that it was very, very effort focused. So Max's business went from thriving to not doing so well. And then, after we implemented the 2WD process, Caravan design didn't start until there was a clear objective of what that design was going to achieve. And specifically, what were the improvements? And we had a process where we find out what the customer want, get some feedback from customers as to what worked, what didn't work, what they didn't like, and then adjustments could be made, and then the design was changed around that. And also it was done in regular stages too, rather than just being an ad hoc. It's okay, let's group bunch of things together, let's gather that information and then move forward. Then we had So then we also had specific KPIs at every stage of the process, so we could work through and see where the effort wasn't being applied as well as it could have been. So, and also we changed the material sourcing. That was a challenge for Max because we eventually convinced him to hire a procurement manager to take over the negotiation of the deals. And part of this was we went through the process and were able to work out, okay, what was the true cost of what the ultimate deal was, especially when you allowed for the wastage of all the stuff that he bought and didn't use. We added that into the cost per unit. All of a sudden it became, his deals weren't as good. So he got a procurement manager in who negotiated those deals and actually improved that. So that helped a lot. And Max's biggest surprise was how quickly things changed. It's amazing what a bit of efficiency, a bit of structure, a bit of organization, a bit of clarity, and that linking of the outcomes with effort, especially if you're rewarding effort, that helps with dopamine and serotonin production. People feel good about it, especially if that effort is leading to a specific outcome. So there's a whole raft of ways that, from a psychological perspective, that really, really helps you. So that leads to Be the Black Hole, which 2WD goal setting is covered in our Be the Black Hole program. In addition to the 2WD process, Be the Black Hole is designed to tap into your unconscious and awaken attracting goals to you. So you actually at an unconscious level become aware of things that will help you get to your goals. It's a really, really high level mastery of mind and goal attraction. And it includes that unconscious mastery, activating your reticular activating system and tapping into effortless flow. And we've all heard about being in the zone. That's what we're talking about there. So we couple that with our unique system of micro-learning, social learnings, and gamification to help Make sure the changes are rapidly implemented into your business. And again, we believe in our products and our services, and Be the Black Hole comes with a 100% money back guarantee. So if it's not unreasonable to learn more about how Be the Black Hole can have a dramatic impact on growing your revenue and profit, please feel free to reach out. We'd love to have a chat and understand how we can help your business keep up and thrive. This is Damien Andrews, growing revenue and profit.